Good morning! Hey, all you beautiful folks out there. So I just wanted to share with you an experience that I had yesterday at the gas station. So I just got off work. I pull in to get my gas. You know, I'm sort of kind of paying attention to my surroundings, but really not paying attention too much. So I'm standing there pumping gas, and this family pulls up. And I can kind of hear this conversation going on in the car because they've got the window cracked just a little bit. There's a dad in the front, and there's a little boy in the passenger side. And I can hear them kind of going at it, but it's not a real fight. It's just kind of a heated conversation. The dad jumps out of the car, and of course now I'm paying attention because little bitty experiences that happen in front of me tend to turn into stories just like this one. And so I'm paying attention, and the dad jumps out and he's pumping the gas, and this little boy, about maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, leans out the window and he's going, "Dad, Dad, 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 Dad," and his dad's saying, "Son, what? What are you, what?" And he's saying, "Why don't you ever sign me up for sports, Dad? Why don't you ever sign me up for sports?" And the dad said, "Son, we've signed you up for lots of sports." He's like, "No, you don't. No, you don't." And about that time, I realized that there's a little brother that's with him. And I lean around the gas pump and I look, and here, lo and behold, we've got a little brother, and he is dressed to the hilt in a baseball uniform. And my observation at this point was how ironic it was that this little boy who's dressed in this baseball uniform is perky, and he's jumping around. You can tell he's practicing his stance, he's getting his arms up, and he is getting, clearly, ready for a ball game. And the little boy leaning out the window, he's like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about." And you can see that the two brothers are having a conversation, and the boy hanging out of the car is clearly frustrated. And he says, "Dad, why don't you ever sign me up for any sports?" And he said, "Son, I've signed you up for lots of sports, and you just keep quitting." And you could see his little face just fell. His expression was very, very, very sad and upset. You could hear the little brother say something. He's like, "Shut up! He loves you better. You don't even know what you're talking about. You get to do whatever you want." And the little boy in the window sat back into his seat, and the dad yelled out to him and said, "Son, why don't you go pay for the gas?" And he's like, "No, I can't do anything right." And I'm standing here not even paying attention to the fact that I'm pumping my own gas, right? And of course it starts clicking because it's full. Wasn't even planning on filling it up, but I was so engrossed in the story that I completely forgot about the fact that I was even pumping gas in the first place. And as I watched this little boy sitting in the front seat, he began to hit himself in the leg and going, "Gosh, gosh." Now, is this a story about parenting? Nope. Is this a story about choosing one child or the other? Nope. This is a story about sabotaging ourselves when we believe we're no good. The little boy that was sitting in the front seat, he wanted to play sports. Clearly, by his dad's account, he couldn't stick with it long enough. He continued to quit things. And something as simple as, "Why don't you go pay for the gas, son?" Look, that was an opportunity for him to be involved in something he could do. And because he felt like a failure with all the other sports and all the things that he felt was true about his brother and his dad, that he loved him more, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to just completely reject his brother, reject his father, and ultimately he rejected himself. Watching him hit himself in the leg, he was so irritated and so frustrated and felt so excluded and rejected that not only did he isolate himself from his family, but then he even began to harm himself. I say all that to say, maybe it's not baseball that we're dealing with. Maybe it's not the feeling that one person gets more than we get. But how many times in this life, even at our own hand, maybe we've quit things, marriages, relationships, jobs, and we have had this negative self-talk that we have just let roll and roll and roll around in our head, and ultimately begin to reject folks in our life and even sabotage our own self. Take a look at your life today. Is there anywhere in your life that this might apply? And if so, can we see it for what it is and begin to make smarter choices when it comes to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our situation? not gonna really get anywhere self-sabotaging, are we? I love you so much. Have an absolutely extraordinary day. I love you. Word.